And look at that. I forgot to add myself into the thing. Well, I told you what a noob I am with the broadcasting. Yep, there you go. So I'm doing live technical check-ins, but I am not a pro broadcaster. So what did I just say? As usual, Pepsi. I will take that Diet Pepsi sponsorship someday. I'll take 1 6-pack a month. That's all you need to give me. And I'll sing the praises of your product. Right? But this is not sponsored. This is just asking. This is begging for it. Um, what else? So with the format of today's show, I'm going to do 1 or 2 articles first to give some people time to get here, right? Then I'm probably going to talk about Gary Graham for not quite a bit. I mean, like an hour. I mean, I just want to show you some clips of some stuff he's been in. I'll have links all below in the description. One section on Gary Graham to several of his fan productions he's done, as well as his Wikipedia. I'll talk about the again. I'll talk in detail about him. Right, he's passed away at the age of 73, and then after that, I'll do the unboxing, which is only one. And then I'll do the rest of the articles, and then we'll enjoy the weekend. Because I'll stop blabbing. So let's start up. Let's share some content with the present button. Window. Share. Okay. And we will go to. Okay, so first we'll talk about this. So from Comic Book Stupidness, which this is a horrible website, but I occasionally go there and check it out. So the question is, why didn't Aragorn use the Army of the Dead against Sauron in the Lord of the Rings? And when you write an article like this, right, you have to actually know about the legendarium. For example, they're showing the form of Sauron that Peter Jackson depicted him in the movie as looking somewhat Melkor-like. And there's very little to indicate in the actual lore, the novels, right, what Sauron actually did anything like that. He was a large midnight black-skinned humanoid at the time of Lord of the Rings. So prior to that, he basically was Anatar, the Lord of Gifts. I mean, the point is, I'm getting at is you need to know about Sauron's nature as to answer this question. Now, we're discounting the stupid event in the movie where it was the piranha-like Army of the Dead, because that's not basically what they did, right? So the Army of the Dead Men of Dunharrow, were human. So way back when the Númenóreans, the survivors of Númenor, settled on the mainland, so to speak, and founded the kingdom of Gondor and Arnor, there were a whole bunch of kingdoms of men which were existing from the men who didn't go to Númenor or who were founded as colonies of Númenor, who gave allegiance to the High King, which was Elendil, and then Isildur and their line. And so Elendil was the king of Arnor and the High King of Arnor and Gondor. Isildur took that from when Elendil was killed and all of that. Anyway, long story short, okay, we're jumping around. So the dead men of Dunharrow forsook their oath to come to aid him in battle, and so Isildur cursed them, right? So cursed to never rest, never sleep, never rest. And the places where they were in the mountains were not very pleasant to go to. I'll put it that way. Okay. That being said, so what happened is this: Aragorn needed a way. So what's happening in Lord of the Rings was Gondor has 2 big armies: the army of the northern Gondor and the army of southern Gondor. And Faramir and Boromir were coming out of the army of northern Gondor, and the army of northern Gondor had basically been devastated by Sauron's forces and advances across the bridges as Gileath and northern Gondor. And the reason they couldn't get reinforced from the army of southern Gondor was because Sauron's forces, other forces, the Black Númenóreans, the Haradrim, and all, had besieged the seaports, so they couldn't transport the troops northward by river because there's a mountain range in between, and they had to defend southern Gondor, right, in a siege. So Aragorn. Now, the only reason the army obeyed Aragorn, and they didn't have to, they could have killed him. Okay, he had no power over them the way the movie depicts. He had his oath, and he said, "I'll release you from your oath if you aid me here." And so that was the condition. And what they did was they drove the Black Númenóreans away in fear because they were wraiths, and that allowed the army of southern Gondor to break the siege and then take the ships of the Black Numnorians and come north, right? And so you may say, well, why couldn't this big army of specters come north with Aragorn? Well, here's the thing you need to know. You need to know the lore for it. Okay, Sauron is the the necromancer, the lord of vampires and werewolves and whatnot. He has power over undead things. So and Aragorn would know that. So taking an army of the undead north to fight against Sauron's forces isn't a good idea. And you can read through this article, but basically you get nonsense out of it, right? So, okay, so 306. I'll do one more, then we'll do Gary Graham's. We'll talk about Gary Graham. And here, James Gunn from Cosmic Book News. James Gunn, DCU a mess, claims the insider. Audio check. Still audio check. Audio is good. Well, Marvel is a big mess. Star Wars is a big mess. Don't be surprised now it's claimed that the new James Gunn DCU is a big mess. Where's your type editor? It should be James Gunn DCU or something, and there's something missing right in there. Blah, blah, blah. So let's go down to what their claim is. It's also known, Gunn, it's also known that, who is the type editor on this? Oh my God. It's also known that, my insertion, Gunn is keeping certain actors from DCU in either the same roles, such as Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, John Cena as Peacemaker, Zolo Maradona as Blue Beetle, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yet he couldn't keep, the perfect Superman, Henry Cavill, but hey, whatever. So this is kind of how Matt Reeves is making a DCU film, but his Batman universe is going to remain separate. Blah blah blah. James Gunn, then add James Gunn's own Batman. Basically, there's a whole bunch of stuff in here summarizing why it's going to be a mess. Okay, and the signs. Now on to the claim that Gunn DCU is a mess. The info comes from Jeff Sneeder. I'm hoping that's spelled right via the hot mic, who says the DCU is a kind of mess. Well, it's also both Marvel and DC is also a big mess. So standard stuff. Okay. I'll tell you something that hasn't been reported yet. Blah blah blah. Okay. Okay. So Snyder continued. There's a billion projects to do up there. It's like seemingly one guy with his hand all of them. I mean, he's got two hands. I mean, it's like beyond Fahey, Yeah. So they're talking about how there's a lot of stuff going on, and they're trying to imply, which is stupid, that Gunn is not capable of juggling all this. Okay, so this is, I think this is another sign that there's a problem. However, I don't think what they're saying tells you much information, right? That being said, it's 3:09 with almost 3:10. Whoever's going to be here is going to be here. So I want to talk about Gary Graham. So from Bounty in the Comics, Star Trek actor Gary Graham passes away at 73 years old. This is him playing Ambassador Soval in Star Trek Enterprise. Gary Graham is best known for his work on a number of prominent sci-fi films and television shows and other stuff. So died suddenly at 73 years old. They get info from his ex-wife. Best known for Admiral Soval. He's also best known for the portrayal of Detective Matthew Sykes on the short-lived television show adaptation of Alien Nation and the TV movies. They don't go on to other stuff. So here. He wouldn't make his foray into acting until he started The Quest alongside Kurt Russell and Madison. I have that TV show. It's pretty good. It's 11 episodes. Wish it was renewed. They were looking for their little sister, kind of like a TV show version of the Comancheros. I've seen all Starsky and Hutch, Incredible Hulk, Knots Landing. Even Knots Landing, my aunt used to watch that when I was a kid, and so I want to watch it when I Dukes of Hazzard, TJ. I've seen all those appearances there. If you've watched TV growing up as me, so to speak, you know who Gary Graham is. So I'm going to leave the article for you to read, hopefully. And I want to show you, I have links. This is Gary Graham's Wikipedia article, so you can get the full breadth of it, right? He's only 73, which is only about 23 years older than me. I mean, obviously, I'm not in great shape, but 73 is young to die nowadays. So I want to show you some Gary Graham stuff, okay? So we'll go, his last role likely is to be, there's a Star Trek fan production which has had some legal drama called Axanar, right? So about 9 years ago, Prelude to Axanar, which was a 20-minute fan film, was put together. Right, that took a few years, and then this guy who's doing Axanar, and he's had blogs over the years where he's working on it, got sued to stop it because basically it's better than anything Star Trek since Deep Space Nine. We'll we'll show you a little bit of this. Look at the quality of this work. This looks better than Star Trek from the last couple of years. There's Gary Graham playing an older Ambassador Saval, and the premise of this fan film is that the prelude and the one that's in final production now. So they did finish filming all the roles, okay, and the guy is working on post production now, and he's saying sometime in this year or because he has to film it on his day job because he's not allowed to earn money due to the legal settlement on Axanar itself, right? So he sometime this year, early next year, until 24, 25, is when the final film is supposed to come out. He does blogs occasionally talking about the progress, right? All the actual character filming is done. It's in post-production with the special effects, which he's basically, because he's not allowed to make money on this, he's a one-man show with him and maybe a couple of volunteers doing all this work. Okay. I've linked to this below. I will play a little more of it to get an idea of what the production is like. And this is likely to be Gary Graham and Richard Hatch's final on-screen role. Axanar has Tony Todd as Ramirez. It's about, and what is Axanar about? It's Ambassador Saval again. So if you remember a character, Garth of Axanar from Star Trek: The Original Series, they found him on a planet where at the insane asylum they were torturing the inmates, and the inmates got control of it and tortured them even more. So Garth is famous for the Battle of Axanar, right? Which led to which prior to Enterprise and Star Trek Discovery messing it up and changing it, was what led to the final formation of the Federation as Earth would help from the Andorians up to the Klingons and Star Trek continuity, right? Not gonna go details of it. So, and if Paramount / CBS had been smart, they would say, "Hey, we'll fund your production. This looks better than anything we're doing now," which it is. But they couldn't. They had to stop because there are a lot of Star Trek fan productions. I'll play a little bit more of this, and I'll show you another one. This is Richard Hatch, who has passed away now as the Klingon commander. Let's see, a couple more actors I want to see if I can catch with a skim through. Yeah, there's J.D. Herzl. He plays Martok in Star Trek the Deep Space Nine. That's the guy playing Axanar, who is I believe the guy he's the guy doing the work, right? The guy playing Garth. So this is it's a high quality, and this is 9 years ago. So like I said, they're working on this, and I'm hoping they finish it, release it, so we will have one final blast of Gary Graham and Richard Hatch, and it will be some quality Star Trek compared to the garbage we've seen since basically Deep Space Nine. Now, another thing that Gary Graham has appeared in is Star Trek of Gods and Men. So this is a fan film. You'll notice Chekhov is in it, Walter Cohen, right? So in a lot of these good fan films, and the reason we tell Gary Graham is Gary Graham loves science fiction, right? I'm sure he gets compensation for these roles, like because but he takes less money to do he took less money to do the Alien Nations follow-up movies. He wanted them done. He really loved Alien Nation as a concept. He liked science fiction. He would take less money to appear in smaller budget productions and guest stars. And Star Trek of Gods and Men at this time is the best Star Trek fan film and one of the 10 best fan films you could possibly see. You have Uhura, Nicole initial. This is from about 11 years ago. So she passed away since then. Let's see if we can catch Gary Graham in here. He plays a Klingon, if I recall correctly. With Russ Tuvok, Russ Davies is playing. I believe he's actually playing Tuvok in this show. Hey, OT. Welcome. We have a new person, I think, or a person who changed their name, OT. Welcome to the show, my friend. Did you watch? So if you're watching Stargate for the first time, are you watching the movie for the first time or the TV show? While I wait for him to answer. Oh, CLS, you changed your name there. There you go. Good. So CLS is one of my regulars. My smalls. Yeah, there's an extended version of the movie CLS, which has a little more footage, and I believe it's remastered. So some of the footage, the screening is cleaned up. I mean, the story doesn't change with the extended version, but it's a slightly better movie than the regular version, and then obviously, oh yeah, I know, I do that. Okay, I have a brand account that I occasionally change the name to. Oh, that's it, OT. If you want to deal with that, make brand accounts. In other words, like you have your main account as CLS or OT or whatever you want to call it, and have like a sub account that's a brand account. You could change those on the fly. There's no delay. Only your main account can't be changed because it's tied to security services to protect your account. So anyway, yeah. So again, I'm trying to see if I can catch. There he is. There's Gary. So there's Gary Graham. Okay, and I recommend if you watch any fan films at all, Star Trek of Gods and Men is better than any Star Trek movie after Star Trek 6 for sure. Arguably better than Star Trek 5, although I like 5 more than I like 4. I don't like the whale track. The point is, and then the other thing, he reprised this. Well, Star Trek of Gods and Men is from the Star Trek fan production on this Atomic Network called Star Trek Renegades. So he plays this character in several episodes of Star Trek Renegades. And I have the first episode of Star Trek Renegades linked below. So that's Gary Graham's his forays into alt Star Trek, right? So let's I will now show you a couple of clips from Gary Graham in Alien Nation. I just got to set it up on my back end, so the copyright, blah blah blah. Okay, let's go to the episodes. Now I don't have unfortunately they've never remastered the Alien Nation TV show. So I have DVD quality basically. Let's mute that. So let's go and share. Stop screen, present. You know what I should do, which will make it easier. Nah, I'll do what I'm doing. Okay, so this is Alien Nation. So Alien Nation was a there you go, CLS. Alien Nation was a up the big screen movie with James Caan and Mandy Patinkin, and it's a really good movie, right? And in most cases, when you make a TV show from a movie, it sucks. Okay, but Alien Nation is probably the best movie to TV show ever. Unfortunately, it was put on Fox in a time frame when anything on Fox on Fridays other than the X-Files was canceled after one season. Although the rumor was it really wasn't canceled because of low ratings or because of finances. There was some sort of contractual thing going on with a strike and so forth, and it just fell between and wasn't renewed. The actor had 1-year contracts. But anyway, here's some clips from TV shows. That's the Ten Canids. I love this TV show. It is so awesome. There's Gary Graham as Matthew Sykes. It's I love it's such a great cultural. This is a callback to the movie. What happened in the movie? It is such a great how do I put it? Mark, please. So let's go back. Now let's go. We'll skip forward to maybe. Here we go. Night of the Screams. This is basically it's kind of a. Well, yes and no. It's a continuation of the movie. There were some slight changes because what happened in the TV show is Kenneth Johnson, who worked on the movie, expanded the Tenkanese culture quite a bit. And there were some things that in the Tenkanese culture would conflict with some of the events in the movie, like in terms of how they described it. But it's beautiful, the whole culture he worked out for these aliens. It was truly alien based on their sort of like they were not they don't just have males and females. They have two male genders, sort of you know in other words, you Alien Nation the movie, the events of it occurred before Alien Nation the series. Much like the events of Stargate the movie occurred before Stargate the series. Okay. So let's take a look at some Gary Graham in Night of the Screams. This is a kind of a newcomer, or the Tenkanese newcomer is kind of like a boogeyman. He's a guy like like a monster that comes on a certain day and takes the newcomer children who've been bad, and said someone's pretending to be this monster to scare the newcomers because newcomer civil rights is a big issue. Like there are humans who don't want to give them the right to vote or whatever, and they want to, and it's obviously a metaphor for the racism, but unlike modern crap, this is actually good, Yeah, so there's Gary Graham is great in this show. He's great in it. I have one more show I could put you. The quality of this, two more Gary Grahams to show you, man. And the quality of this is very subpar. I have a VHS rip of this. They've never remastered any of this. I'm going to see if I can catch a little. Carl Lumbly. There's a lot of great cast in this show. Only ran one season. Let's see if we can catch any of. What's up here? Again, I really love this show. He played one of the police captains. You'll see him in the background, I think, when they show. It's hard to remember. I haven't watched this in quite a few years. I've been hoping they would do a remaster on it so I could watch it in much better resolution and enjoy it. But this is another show he's in. So I can't find him. I'm not going to skim through that. I will show you one more Gary Graham project that I do have good quality on. A very underrated movie. Gary Graham in Robot Jocks. He plays Achilles. This is kind of like a BattleTech SB. If you know what Solaris is, it's kind of basically rather than wage war to minimize damage. What they've done is the U.S. and the Soviets settle their war with giant robot fighting. Anime cliche, but young Gary Graham as Achilles. He's one of the older. So he's an older generation. I believe these guys are genetically engineered or genetically altered. So he's an older generation of the gladiators. All the other ones have been killed off with the fights, and he's training the younger ones who are all hotshots. But he's so there's kind of that interplay. And again, this guy has been around. I'm going to check and see if I have anything else. I don't think I have anything else by Gary, unfortunately. Well, I know I have some episodes of Starsky and Hutch. I just don't remember which episode it is. He was in Chips. I have an episode of that. I don't remember what he was in for there. He was in Moonlighting. He played an assassin who was hired to kill Bruce Willis's character in Moonlighting. He was in one of the Dirty Dozen sequel movies right before Alien Nation, as a matter of fact. What else? He was in Star Trek Voyager as a character named Tanis, which is one of the Ocampa. So when Kes was getting her power problems, she found another group of Ocampa on another planet, If I remember correctly, Tannis is one of them. Hey, Dempsey. Welcome. Thanks for saying hello and dropping a like. If you want to keep listening while I talk, it's perfectly fine. So again, another Star Trek thing. What else? I mean, he's been a lot. There's a lot of stuff. Just go look at his Wikipedia with his filmography and go and enjoy. Okay? So that being said, let's get back on topic here. Okay. So, Mr. Graham, I will say finally, thank you for the entertainment you provide over the years. You're always a class guy. I know people who've seen you at conventions and always said you were a class guy. I wish I could have met you at one of those. I've enjoyed your work, and you'll be missed. Okay, so so now we'll take a break from the articles. Now I only have one unboxing. The other thing that goes with this, I can't even read what's in here until the other thing that's coming, probably like within the next 4 hours or tomorrow. But there's 5 issues of a series I will talk about in here, and there's 1 issue of it in the other thing. Okay, so let's just get this puppy open without doxing myself, because I did not use the Elite anti-doxing technology on this one. I'll use my razor hand. Razor hand. My razor hand failed me, guys. Very nice packaging. This is from Ron's Comic Closet, his eBay shop. I've gotten good results from that guy. Good packaging. No issue. No problem with the issues. Trying to figure out what's in the box. Okay, right here. Good packaging. So I got all the cardboard up, and now he's in a big plastic bag. Now, within the context of being in the big plastic bag, they all come bagged and boarded. So now I found this comic by accident. One, two. Oh man, he sent me the wrong issue. Oh no, he didn't send me the wrong issue. That was my mistake. So I found actually 2 comics. Okay. So I have to check the invoice. Did he? Let's check the invoice. This could be an error, or I made a mistake, or Ron made a mistake. Nope, I made a mistake. He must have ran out of. Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So we'll start with the singles one. So I want to try this series out. It's called Fantasy Comics from Antarctic Press. Wow. Holy crap. This is a $5 book, right? I don't know if you could hear this. This is a very well-constructed book. Oh, my God. Holy, wow. And look at the artwork inside. I like this sort of fantasy art type, fantastical fantasy art. I like it. So I want to read this, and this is from quite a few months ago. And if I like it, I'll buy the rest. Now, here's what I'm most enthused about, and I think I have. So this is a 6-issue miniseries, and I think I have the other 2 issues coming in the order that's coming tonight. I will double check that. Okay, but so I can't obviously can't read the miniseries, so I have at least all of them. It's called Kitsune. So what is a kitsune? Okay, in Japanese folklore, kitsune is a type of yokai, which is often translated as demon in English, but it's not quite a demon the way we think of demons in English. Um, the kitsune are mischievous fox spirits. Sometimes they're servants of Inari. If I got my folklore down correctly, was one of the Japanese Shinto gods. Um, there are 2 types of anthropomorphic animal comic books. Okay, there's the ones based in folklore, which I like a lot, like Usagi Yojimbo, the rabbit god Kaguya, the rabbit goddess of the moon, the tale of Princess Kaguya. Obviously, that was the basis of Kaguya in Naruto, right? So Usagi Yojimbo is a folklore based samurai rabbit. The one I tend to dislike are the ones like the Ninja Turtles. There was a whole rash of them in the '90s. They were like Ninja Turtles came out, and then you start getting like anachronistic android aardvark assault squad. With the ass, or robust adolescent transformational squirrels, rats. It's like to make an acronym, they destroy, and these wouldn't have anything with folklore. They're making up mutated animals, right? So this is from Scout Comics. Let's check the quality. So this is a $5 book. Feels a little not quite. It is nowhere near just to touch the quality of this book. Okay, both $5. I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, this is a 9 to 9.5 quality for $5. This might be like a 7-ish. I only mentioned this because, like if you're gonna pay $5, I mean, if I like, since it's a complete mini series, and I'll talk about the price in a minute. Like if you're gonna spend $5 on something, you want to get more than you want to get a better buy than this feels like an Image $3.99 comic or type of thing, So a dollar makes a difference when you're buying a long ongoing series. Mini series not so much. Now this is from a year ago, so on Things from Another World Comics, which I will show off in a bit. You can get a lot of recent comics from the past 2 or 3 years half price. So like a $5 book was $2.90 or something like that. That's why I paid half price for all of these except for one issue, I think, on Ron's Comic Closet that was like $1 off. But there's a discount on Ron's Comic Closet. If you get 5, you get 10% off. So let's take cover art. I love. I'll tell you that right away. Now let's take a look at who our creators are. Our creators are story and script are Luca Friggero, and story art and letters are Emanuele Ercolani. So these seem like Italian, which is even more to my liking. I have a funny feeling that might be DHL dropping off my comics. Anyway, let's take a look at the art inside. I like the color scheme. I like the art layout. And this is not a kiddie comic. You see a little bit of graphic nature in there. It's just basically a samurai warrior. I really like the visuals on this. I really like it. So that's our unboxing. It's the same type of artwork in every one of them. When I get the whole miniseries, I'll probably do a miniseries review. I probably should do some more. I've been showing these comics off. I'll show the covers. Let me show the covers off. Okay. So this is issue number 1. issue number 2. This is a variant cover, by the way, issue number 1. Issue number 3. Oh, no, issue number 4. Issue number 6. So I believe I have issues 3 and 5 coming from Things from the World, or I have issue 5 coming. I have to find issue 3. So those are the comics. Only one of which I can read today, unfortunately, once the box gets here. Okay, so let's get back to our articles. So this is Bleeding Fool is a nice website. It is not woke. It is made in sort of mockery of Bleeding Cool, which is woke. This is a cool article. Modern Toons still can't be trusted. Best free classic Toons for kids, Volume 1, and adults. And if you look at the imagery on presented, I'll look at all that awesome goodness there. You got the G1 Transformers, which Kirkman's Energon Universe has brought that feeling of. You got Richie Rich down there. There's Beetlejuice, Winnie the Pooh. I don't remember the raccoon's name down there. Let me enlarge this, actually. There you go. There's the Berenstein Bears right there. There's Muppet Babies, Thundercats, Galaxy. This is a Galaxy Ranger. That is an awesome cartoon. Matter of fact, I'm going to take a break and show you a scene from Galaxy Rangers. That's how awesome I think we need to be. I want to show some of these cartoons off, as a matter of fact. So first, let's do a share. You know what? There's going to be a way to do this. Well, I don't have to. I can do it in the window. This is live. Michael Bay destroyed our childhood. Okay, present. Okay, so let's go in and I will. Let's retire these. Mark and. Okay. So, Galaxy Rangers. So this ran for one season. Look at the cast: Jerry Orbach, Earl Hammond, Laura Dean. These are like famous. I love this show so much. Let's just go with the first one. Obviously, I can't play the sound because I'll get copyright struck. The premise of this is that there was a war between humans and aliens, and they made these cyborgs to defend against the aliens, and some of them were like super cyborgs. Okay, and that gets revealed over the course of the show. And the survivors of the war have joined the Galaxy Rangers, who are basically like U.S. Marshals in space as human colonization expands, and have a couple of aliens who are helping the humans recover from the war. Right. So this is classic '80s stuff. This is one of the best stories for a cartoon you'll get in the '80s. You know, let's do a little more, just showing it off. Oh, Starblaze. Yeah, well, Star Blazers, Space Battleship Yamato. So Star Blazers is the American version of Space Battleship Yamato. What do I have it as? Star. Now, I certainly can't play any sound from this because See, Corinne Orr is in this one too. I certainly can't play. The English, the audio for this show in both English and Japanese is awesome. So this is Star Blazers, which is of course Space Battles of Yamato. Well, we're showing some of those 80s cartoons. Like, so what else was in that article? Let's take a look, see here. So we saw, I don't have all of them, obviously, but I do have, I have Thundercats in I believe a remastered edition. Well, all these cartoons in the article are available for free. If you read the article, it'll tell you what to watch them. This is Thundercats. These are the mutants. There's Momra, the Ever Living, one of the greatest villains of the 1980s cartoons. Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Momra, the Ever Living. I can do this. Sir Omen, give me sight beyond sight. I can do all this Thundercat stuff, and I love this show. Here, I'll do live. Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form into Momra, the Ever Living. There's the claw shield. Lionel rescued Sort of Omens. Thunder. The eye is held shut with the ooze. This is when Lionel was still learning how to fight. This is when Mumra could be held away by the fear of his own image. Classic villain. So before I get dinged again, let's find another one. Let's see. Who else is in there? The Centurions are in there, so let's take a quick look at the Centurions. Another one of my favorite cartoons as a kid. The premise of the Centurions, you had each an expert in sort of air engineer. They were all scientists and soldiers, and they were all capable of specialists in different environments, and they had power armor that you could call down for that particular environment. And they fought against a sort of cyborg menace, Doctor whatever, I can't remember his name. Again, they never remastered this, so unfortunately, I'm stuck with no res. And what else we got? This was the Dinosaurs. This guy here. There's the Simpsons back when they were good. I think this is. What is this cartoon? There's the Ghostbusters. There's Voltron. Spectre Gadget. There's He-Man right there. He-Man. Okay. Anyway, I'm not gonna go for every. I have a lot of these cartoons. They're such great cartoons. Okay, man. Yep. If you, I want to go another 10, 15 minutes CLS. So thanks for being here. Okay, so I will move on to the next article then. So showing the punching power. Amazing Spider-Man, which came out, so which I want to say is like the fourth appearance of Spider-Man. Uh, Amazing Spider. So Amazing Fantasy 15 is the first appearance of Spider-Man. That's the most expensive Marvel comic, right? Um, so and then this issue came out maybe 6 months later, and it became Spider-Man #1. Man, I'm gonna wonder how many of these are left. So 1.3 million at auction. Wow. This is an unrestored copy, which is what you want unrestored. The only time you'd want wow, Superman #1 for 2.3 million. This guy must have a gold collection. The only time you'd want a restored comic is if it were utterly destroyed. Okay. So Reacher season 2 concluded. It was great. I have my old videos of watching it. You can all check those out. So now they've announced what book is being adapted for Reacher season 3. Oh man! And the book is called. Why am I brain locking? Persuader. Okay. Now, the character of Neely appears like she's going to be Reacher's right hand man, so to speak, in this show. She's right. She's not in that novel, and I'm okay with that because Lee Child is in control of this. So I'm okay with them doing this. Is how you make an adaptation that's respectful. As long as if they want to put Neely in and get rid of some other background characters, no problem with that. Right. And also, let's look at the premise of the novel. Jack Reacher lives for the moment, without a home, without commitment, and with a burning desire to get to right wrong and rewrite his own agonizing past. DEA agent Susan Duffy is living for the future, knowing she has made a terrible mistake by putting one of her own female agents in a death trap with a heavily guarded main mansion. Staging a brilliant ruse, Reacher hurtles into the dark heart of a vast criminal enterprise, trying to rescue an agent whose time is running out. Reacher enters the crime-lord's waterfront fortress, and they will find a world of secrecy and violence and confront some unfinished business from his own past. And of course, Nick Santora serves as showrunner of the series for which he and Child executive produce. So Lee Child's control has kept it straight. And the timing of it probably will be out in the same time frame, December and January of this year. Okay, so now we get on to the tech. All right. Now, this is, let me make it bigger. Okay. So why is this important, right? Why am I talking about this? So TSMC is Taiwan Semiconductor something, semiconductor manufacturing company, right? And obviously they're in Taiwan, which is the Republic of China, not the People's Republic of China, which is the mainland. Now, a lot of this is an allied country. Unfortunately, we are currently letting China encroach upon them. We are heavily dependent upon them for our electronics infrastructure on Republic of China, which is Taiwan, and on South Korea and Japan. We are heavily dependent upon those for infrastructure. Okay. Also, why am I talking about this? Well, I remember when I was, 20, and we were debating in engineering school that now you notice this is a 2 nanometer update, so that they're talking about the 2 nanometer process manufacturing process. That means when they're etching the CPU the circuits of it onto the die. They're using a beam of some sort, a laser most likely, that is 2 nanometers wide to put the etchings on. Back when I was around 20 in 1990-ish or so, and we were talking about this stuff, in engineering school, they were on like millimeter, like 100 millimeter fab, and the joke was they would never even get down to 10 millimeter, right? And then when they got there, all the naysayers were like, "Oh, science and engineering will never advance. They'll run into quantum interference limits before they even get to under a millimeter, and then they jump from 1 millimeter to like 750 nanometers, and so forth. And then, well, they'll hit a hard. They'll hit a hard. The idiots, like, they'll hit a hard barrier at 10 nanometers. The quantum interference will prevent any further shrinkage. And our response was, well, the Japanese and IBM already experimented with subatomic semiconductors, which means they'd have below nano, they'd have picometer fabrication with that. So just to go to show you, the science and technology and engineering has advanced incredibly much. So much so that I can't. The computer I just built, which I had no problems. You saw me unbox the CPU last week. The CPU is like this big, right? And there's more circuitry at I believe it's 5 nanometer scale etching that they use. There's more circuitry there than on a CPU that was built 20 years ago, which would have been like this big back then. So that's my last prefab article. I did find one right away, a lookup article, which I want to talk about. Henry Cavill is going to begin training for Highlander. This is a great scene. Personally, I think Cavill would be better playing the Kurgan. He'd be big and physically imposing. But if they get a guy who's big enough like this, my view, go get the Undertaker. Mark Calloway, he knows how to play mean and menacing. Doesn't have to talk much. There's your Kurgan. Yeah. But this says that he's training for it. So notable apples from the press release where Stileski from John Wick was given control over John Wick and the Highlander franchise. It is mentioned in the release for Henry Cavill. Cavill has long been unofficially attached to play a new Connor McLeod in this new version of the property. So he's still on board. I'm promoting Matthew Vaughn's Argyle this week, which is a spy series, which I've heard good things about, that Cavill stars in. He confirmed to Clyde he's still very much a part of it. He's about to begin an extensive training regime for it. And Cavill is going in for it. When he does something well, he goes for it, So now it's almost 4 o'clock. I'm not gonna go crazy to hit 4:15 today. So I will try to get. We'll do the 5 articles like I usually do. So I'll try to find 5 random articles. If there are any questions out there, I think anyone listening now is listening just passively. So bounty in the comics. I will be getting these comics in the next 2 shipments, but I'm not going to talk about them here. Oh, here's what we could show. The little film that could. So Godzilla -1, with its budget of $10 million, has so far almost hit $100 million. It's being re-released. It was released in Japan in black and white, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Now it's being released for 1 week in the U.S. in black and white. Either I want to say next week if it wasn't this week. So this is gonna pass $100 million. A $10 million film. It's the best film of last year. So let's look around. Bounding, bleeding, blabbering out. I had no music. Let's see if we find music. And nothing really hopping out at me here on Blabbering. Metal Injection. Oh, I haven't listened to it yet, but Bruce Dickinson has dropped a new track from his solo album. So I believe it's called Rain. Rain. Let's find out rather than guess. It's off the Mandrake Rain on the Grave, so it's off of his Mandrake project. Other than that, nothing really pops out here. What's this? One more Radio Times. This is kind of entertainment, not so much as radio anymore. There used to be a big site for radio itself, like the like news about radio. Radio died, so basically now it's just entertainment news. Got one more music site where it's Ultimate Classic Rock. Don't care about the Grammys. Yes is one of those classic rock bands. It'd be interesting to hear how they sound in a reunion. Okay, so no real music news popping out. Let's go to Collider. I wasn't a big fan of Daredevil to begin with, so now this deals with heroin abuse and sex trafficking. So will they go all in? I don't know. Well, but she gets basically, if I remember correctly, her character gets addicted to heroin and then sex trafficked. So we'll see if they actually go all in on Born Again. I'm not even going. I'm not going all in on this. I mean, I'm of the opinion that this Superman Legacy film is not going to be good, but we'll see. So everything you said that Jason Statham's movie, The Beekeeper, is supposed to be really, really good. So I want to see that. I haven't been able to find a. You know, I'm obviously I'm disabled, so I acquire it, and if I like it, I buy it on Blu-ray. You know, but I'm anticipating that. Let's check out Fandom Pulse. Nothing hopping out here. Dread Central. Empire. Masters of the Air. I'll be watching this and doing reviews of this show. Okay, this is a sort of sequel. You know, we did so Band of Brothers, The Pacific. This is a sort of sequel to that. I don't know if it's officially a sequel or a sequel in spirit, but I'll definitely be doing reviews of it. The first episode dropped, so my review for this is probably up by Sunday. Masters of the Air is basically about the Army Air Corps in World War II. So back then, the Air Force was part of the Army. It wasn't its own separate branch until strategic decisions related to the Cold War happened. Hello to Geek Tyrant. Geek Town. Giant freaking robot. Star Trek losing Paramount home. Could the Star Trek franchise be changing hands once again? TrekMovie.com reported that Skydance media owner Dave Ellison has made an offer to purchase Paramount Global which currently owns Star Trek IP. The takeover would involve Paramount Global's Shari Redstone selling a controlling interest in the company through our national amusements banner. Dave Ellison, Skydance Media does see with the top candidate, Paramount Global takeover, blah, blah, blah. Star Trek is Paramount's crown jewel. It will be interesting acquisitions. Dave Ellison, Skydance Media is a small company in Paramount Global, blah, blah, blah. Dave Ellison is a son of Larry Ellison, so there's a big rich guy behind all that. Also, he wants to buy only part of the company and get certain franchises. And Paramount wants to sell the whole thing, so to speak, because they don't want to lose value. Okay, so that's interesting news. It's 401, maybe 2 more articles. Hollywood Reporter. Nothing popping out. Screen Rant. Okay, so this interested me. So I think a lot of us love Avatar: The Last Airbender and are less excited about the sequel, Korra. Okay, so they made some changes to Aang's Avatar state. So everything I heard that this adaptation is actually going to be fairly good. Um, so I mean, I don't know. You never know, but it's Netflix, which means it could be good on like Amazon, which means it's more likely to be bad. So we'll see. The Beat, one more article maybe, and Variety. World of Real. Hollywood Reporter. Okay, so basically we're at 4 o'clock. We don't need to push it too hard. Let's just see if my package arrived. I can run out and do another unboxing if it's there. So it would be this one. I mean, you can't see what I'm doing, obviously, but nope, it's still en route. We'll probably be here tomorrow. One little no, not quite on the genre, but I'm a longtime Law and Order fan. The last few years of Law and Order Special Victim Unit have been kind of woke and crappy. They brought Law and Order, the original show, back 2 seasons ago, and it was actually fairly good, just not great. Law and Order Organized Crime has been pretty good for the seasons that have been out so far. The other Law and Order shows are the Chicago shows and the FBI shows. Chicago PD has been really good. Less woke, almost no woke stuff on it, right? But the point I'm getting is Law and Order. The first 2 episodes of Law and Order for this season have been classic, top level, no woke, make you think, talk about what's going on, stuff like comparable to the first 6 seasons of the show when Michael Moriarty was there and they actually had a moral center. Um, I don't know how to convince you guys to watch Law and Order again if you gave it up. But give these first 2 episodes of this season a shot because they're excellent. Anyway, no need to belabor the point. If anyone out there has any questions, I will. Nope, it looks like I'm in the passive listening mode. So, my name is Matt. Oh, what else? What do I got going on? Let's look at my calendar because it's so complex. Okay, so obviously every Friday Fandemonium at 3:00. I will be on Jacob Ironside's channel this Saturday again, all in the mix, talking about Reacher. We talked about the Pacific last Saturday. Favorite Westerns before that. Again, that's a great show, all in the mix. And his show, I wasn't on his Tuesday show this week because I wasn't really a fan of the movie he was talking about. But on the 16th, we did Lawrence of Arabia, a movie which is a great movie, which is a horrible adaptation, right? Before that, we did The Light Horsemen, so 2 World War I themed movies. This Tuesday coming up on the 30th, we'll be talking about the movie Ronin with De Niro and Sean Bean. So that's scheduled. We just did Roman of the Empire last night, talking about 12 Monkeys, those funky monkeys. That was a great show. A bunch of friends talked their fan theories about a movie, going back and forth, give it as good as we got, And next Thursday on the 1st, I'll probably be on Roman's show. So that's what I got coming up. And I should have Masters of the Air review out on Sunday. I'll have another episode of Sharp probably up by Monday. Because Reacher's done and Monarch is thankfully done. I'll try to do a third show. I want to try to have 3 shows going forward, so I'll probably have a third show in there at some point. Maybe an old show. Maybe I'll go back and do Night Stalker. Close track to Night Stalker. Anyway, my name is Matt. This has been Rebel 73, your Crown Prince of Fandemonium with over 9,000 gigawatts per hour. See you all next week on Friday Fandemonium. Have a nice weekend. I am out of here.